Welcome to our community. Happy September to you. Susie Thomas here visiting with Ted Watko and Melissa Coltis. They are from Meals on Wheels. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Always something going with you guys. It's always exciting, and you do not let moss grow on your Rolling Stone. Also just recently did a rebranding, right? Tell us a little bit about what's up.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, Susie. Just want to spend a minute or two and recap for everybody a little bit about our agency to get that level set, and then certainly we'll tell you what's going on with our agency. Our agency began about 43 years ago. We were founded by former Mayor Stanley Kamick, community volunteer Jane Chirac Gibbons, and then Bill Belden from the Belden Brick Company. And actually, Bill is still on our board 43 years.
That's cool.
Which is great. He's great for the knowledge base and the history of the agency and really contributes a lot to our agency. So a shout out to Bill for his continued partnership with us as an agency. We today are actually doing 1,400 meals, which is absolutely outstanding.
That's amazing.
However, we know there's more of a need out there in the community. So we've really been focused the last couple years on getting our message out there. I came on board a couple years ago. It's hard to believe it's been about 2.5 years already, and brought on a new leadership team, brought on Melissa as my marketing manager, brought on a gentleman by the name of Jay Varnes, who's our food service manager, and I must say our food is outstanding.
Yes, it is.
I personally am part of the quality control team. I love it. Love
that means you get to
Absolutely.
taste.
I do get to taste. In fact, just this morning, I was tasting our potato salad, and quite frankly, it wasn't right. And I told the kitchen people it needed stuff, so Jay got involved and added a few more ingredients.
What was missing? What did
now
it
it's
need?
Outstanding. He added some more mayonnaise and a little bit more mustard.
Yeah, that's the difference.
And it just is perfect. It's perfect. So
awesome.
We're all set there. But again, we operate out of Massillon, Ohio, is where our administrative office and our kitchen is located. So everything is made in our kitchen, homemade and fresh, which is huge. Think about it. If the quality of our food is lacking, we're not going to retain our client base. So we're very proud of that fact. We've been out there now for 19 years, actually. And the building's starting to show some wear and tear. We had some unforeseen expenses recently, actually. The drains in our kitchen were backing up.
Oh, no.
So we actually had to modify things for about a 4 to 5 week period. We were able to continue service to our clients, thank goodness. And a shout out to RG Drag. They allowed us to use their kitchen for a couple weeks, and we were very appreciative of that. But yes, the drains were backing up, and when we brought in the people to look at them, the piping had actually disintegrated in the ground.
Oh, no.
So they had to completely do all new drainage within our kitchen area. So we've got top of the line drains right now, which is good. But again, just saying that we do appreciate people to support us for stuff like this that's unforeseen and comes up. But again, the building's 19 years old. We know we have to put money back into the building and so forth. But we, again, want to just make sure that we're functioning properly for our clients and, again, putting out a good product.
It makes sense because those kinds of things happen to our own kitchens.
Absolutely.
So it's just the same with your kitchen. Who does your cooking?
We do. We cook all of our own stuff. So we've got a full kitchen staff there. Jay has brought on some really good people.
Wow.
And so we cook all of our stuff on site there. So like, for example, this afternoon, they're creating the meal for tomorrow, actually. So by the time they leave this afternoon, everything is ready for tomorrow's meal. So what happens is they cook it, and then they put it into a blast chiller to bring the temperature down overnight. And then I've got 2 gentlemen that come in at 4 in the morning, and they load the trucks, and then they deliver out to our 17 sites across Stark and Wayne counties. So they're on the road by 5. And then what happens is I have part-time site coordinators that come into these 17 facilities around 8 o'clock. They then double count the meals, and then they put it in the oven to warm everything up. And once that's warmed up, then they portion it into the individual containers that we deliver to our clients right to their door.
So it arrives ready to eat hot.
Absolutely. It's hot and ready to go, which is huge for our clients. Some of them have trouble even opening, frozen meals and so forth, but we make it as easy as possible for them to open that meal and eat it right then and there.
And when we say meals, what meals of the day are we talking about?
We are primarily creating, I would say, a dinner meal, but serving it at lunch. It's a hot meal. We can provide up to 3 meals a day. We can actually do a breakfast. Wow. And then we can also do what we call a sack lunch, which is like a sandwich and a potato salad or something, which is delivered. All this, again, is delivered at noon time frame. So they can really eat the hot meal at noon, eat the sack for dinner because they can just put that in the refrigerator until about 5, 6 o'clock or whenever they get hungry. And if they get breakfast, they can just put that in the fridge until the following morning and so forth. So we deliver Monday through Friday. If there's a need for meals on the weekend, we can provide frozen meals for them at that time as well.
You're always needing drivers.
Always needing drivers. That is huge because tied to these 17 sites, then we have 60 delivery routes that go out of these 17 sites. So we need at a minimum 60 volunteers a day. Ideally, we would like 120 because it's a little bit more efficient. And if we have what we call a driver and then the runner. The driver's kind of following the directions, getting to the houses, and then the runner's getting the right meals and then running them literally to the door to hand to the client. And that's the really important part is the safety check then because someone is checking on the loved one, especially if the children are out of town and mom and dad are still here or whatever, they can be assured that somebody's checking on mom and dad. If mom and dad don't answer the door, we're on the phone to the emergency contact so that they can follow up and make sure that they're okay.
I think what you say is very important there. They're not just dropping these off then. If no one comes to the door, they don't leave it on the porch and leave. You've got
absolutely not.
Somebody in the car keeping the motor running, the getaway driver, but then also you've got the person who's running up and checking on the person that's going to be
absolutely. So we are looking for drivers because we're really at that tipping point where we're growing. We can't carve out new routes until we have the drivers. See what I'm saying? So our routes are getting kind of large, and that's really not fair to our volunteers. We only want to have their time about an hour to 90 minutes per day.
That was my next question about how much of a time commitment are we giving?
60 to 90 minutes on average.
And how many houses would you be visiting in that
typically, well, ideally 12 to 15, but like I said, that's pushing up to about 15 to 20 now, again, because we need the volunteers to help us with the deliveries.
Do you see you're getting more need and more requests for clientele because of an aging baby boomer population?
Absolutely.
So this isn't going to go away anytime soon.
No. And keep in mind, we serve everybody. It just doesn't have to be the elderly. If somebody's in the hospital, for example, and they're 30 years old, living in an apartment, has no family around or whatever, and needs a couple weeks of meals delivered till they get back on their feet, we can do that.
What about new moms?
That's an idea too. We're open to anything. Just call into our agency. We've got a great case management team on board, and they will ask some questions up front. And it's not to pry with the clients, but really to find out what their needs are and to get them into the best program possible. Well,
it sounds like your brand was awfully good just to start with. What was the need for a rebranding?
Let me step back just for a minute here to explain the big picture. We are just a local Meals on Wheels organization serving Stark and Wayne counties. We are part of a larger organization or association called Meals on Wheels America. Now, you need to keep in mind that Meals on Wheels America, we pay dues, but they have no control over our agency from a day-to-day operational standpoint. They're strictly there to support us. They'll provide us with grants, dollars, which is great. They'll provide us with some marketing support. Anything that, basically we need, we can give them a call. They're our advocate on Capitol Hill for more funding from the government, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of people think that they actually control our agency, and they don't. They estimate that there's over 5,000 Meals on Wheels organizations across the country.
Is that right?
Keeping in mind, we're one of the larger ones at 1,400 meals. Yes. A lot of them are smaller, church-based that maybe do 20 to 30 meals. So you can imagine with the population across the United States, the need for 5,000 plus. Now, I'm going to scale that back. They estimate there's 5,000. Then there's about 1,000 that are actually dues-paying members to Meals on Wheels America. So those are the ones that they can really track and monitor.
Yes.
And what they found over the years, keep in mind, and keep going back to this, they have no control over the agencies. So some Meals on Wheels organizations aren't even called Meals on Wheels.
Oh.
Our partners up to the north are called Mobile Meals. So it's a little confusing to the clients. And in talking with our neighbors to the north, that's one of their challenges is confusion, brand confusion and so forth. And everybody has a different logo. And so Meals on Wheels America stepped back and did a lot of research on our brand and what's the perception out there. And that's kind of what we want to lead into next is I'll turn the microphone over to Melissa here to give everybody a little bit of history on that and then how that impacted our agency.
That's interesting. Yes, Melissa, how?
So as Ted mentioned, they did a lot of research on our brand and on just Meals on Wheels in general across the country. And what they found was people really didn't have the knowledge of what Meals on Wheels actually was.
Really?
They believed that it was a meal service provider, which sounds pretty accurate, but it's definitely not the picture we want to portray. As Ted said, we see ourselves obviously much more than just a meal provider. We're providing that hot, nutritious meal every single day to the client. We're providing a safety check. We make sure that, the client is at home, that they're healthy. We see them. We're providing that peace of mind to the family to make sure that, like Ted mentioned, if they're out of state or if they just don't get over there every day, sometimes our drivers are the only people our clients see every single day. And then the other thing that a lot of Meals on Wheels provide is pet food. We were actually one of the organizations that started this, but we found out that if the client is not able to get out of their home to get their meals, how are they providing meals to their pet?
Did you also find that they were giving their own food?
They were giving about half of their meal to their cat or dog. So you can see that that's a problem for us. They're not getting the nutrition that they need out of that meal.
Right.
And obviously that's not good for the pet as well. So we started this pet food program because we want to keep those pets healthy and in the home, because that also helps keep the client happy, healthy. And this holistic approach that we really pride ourselves on is dependent also not only on their physical well-being, but their mental well-being as well. So that's one thing that this research showed. So we wanted, to make sure that that image was getting out there, that message. We're not just providing a drop ship meal on your doorstep.
Yes.
There's a lot more to it than that. And so we were very interested in this rebrand. We were very interested to show the community everything that was involved in our service as a community service. And we decided to take this idea to the board of Meals on Wheels and talk to them about the importance that we saw in this rebrand. Our old brand was a little dated. It was cute. It was a man on wheels delivering a meal. It was, it brought a smile to your face, but it was dated, and we definitely wanted to be a part of this larger rebrand as well from the association standpoint. And so we decided, and the board agreed to move forward with the rebrand of the organization. And we, I think they have probably about 30% of the other organizations across the country that are part of them that have also joined in and done this as well. And we've had a really big success. We launched a new website in June. We have obviously updated our photo. I think we'll put that online for them to see,
Cool.
right, of our
Nice.
logo.
Absolutely.
They can obviously visit our website to see what it looks like. And together we wanted to just show, that we were a larger group of entities that were working and striving to help seniors across the country.
And I'm thinking, going along with the rebranding and a consistent branding across the country, since quality control and the food quality is so important, that once someone sees that they're dealing with Meals on Wheels proper, that they know what kind of quality they're going to be getting. I would think the national organization would just feel more comfortable with that.
Sure, exactly.
The fact that you're all doing that. I missed it if you said it. Is this 7 days a week, or is this
5 days a week?
Okay.
3 meals a day are possible. And just to circle back, the U.S. Census believes that there are more than 65 million Americans over the age of 60. By 2030, that number will have increased to 92 million. And by 2050, Meals on Wheels of America expects that number to double.
Oh, yeah.
So you can,
We're the big crowd.
Right. So you can imagine that the rebrand, we really hope, will help engage the public now and hopefully attract more volunteers to help us continue to provide this service.
Knowing what you know is kind of amazing. How do you know what the need is? You've said about, we've anticipated that there's this many people not getting out, not eating properly because they're not getting out. How do you figure that out?
We have research. The National Association actually does research for us. That's one thing that they provide to help us understand the need. Specifically in Ohio, they believe that there are more than 650,000 seniors that are isolated and living alone.
Wow.
I feel like that's a pretty strong number to hear. Yeah. And then more than 375 are threatened by hunger. And more than 683 are living in or near poverty. So if they're isolated, they're living alone, they can't get out of their home, then we know that they need us. And we know that 1 in 6 seniors is definitely on the verge of hunger, hunger.
And this research is coming from Meals on Wheels America. Again, a benefit of our membership to that association is they look at it on a state-by-state level. And again, they want to ensure consistency across the country because, again, I think clients expect consistency. If you're living in Ohio or you're living in Arizona, Meals on Wheels comes to mind. You want that similar brand image to come to mind,
right,
and just a good, I think, overall image of the quality of food and so forth.
Mm-hmm. We're speaking with Melissa Coltis and Ted Watko from Meals on Wheels. Going to take a quick break. We'll be after these words. You're listening to Our Community.